Hi, welcome to my channel. Here I explore racism and its cultural influence, both historically and today. I focus on teaching about whiteness and white American culture since many people struggle with these concepts. It's important to understand how whiteness has shaped our cultures, institutions, and the way we think about others and ourselves. I believe that by making whiteness visible, we can better articulate our experiences as racial and ethnic minorities, while allies can become more aware and examine their own whiteness. By understanding white American culture, we better understand ourselves, as this culture has influenced all other cultures within the US. This helps us see that white culture's ways of doing things shouldn't be treated as normal while seeing other cultures as different or unusual. If this sounds like something you'd like to know more about and would like to be supportive of my efforts, please feel free to give me a like and a follow by subscribing to this channel. Now, let's explore two Supreme Court cases where the plaintiffs, the people who filed the original lawsuits, were denied classification as white and the court's rationale in each case. I will then break down the key takeaways from these cases. So let's get started. Takao Ozawa was a Japanese immigrant who lived in the United States for 20 years and attended the University of California, Berkeley. He had also renounced his Japanese citizenship and was a long-term resident of Hawaii. He filed a lawsuit seeking racial classification as white in order to become a citizen and argued that he should be reclassified because he believed he was Caucasian. His case ultimately reached the United States Supreme Court in 1922. This case was rejected by the SCOTUS because, they concluded, he was not Caucasian but instead Mongoloid, and it was being Caucasian specifically that made people white. Bhagat Singh Thind was born in India and immigrated to the US in 1913. He also served in World War I. Due to his racial classification, he could not be naturalized. He sued to be racially classified as white, arguing that he was Caucasian and therefore should be classified as white. And this is true. Indians are Caucasian, which shows us that the use of Caucasian today in lieu of white or European is actually incorrect. Caucasian includes Arabs, Pakistani people, and more. In 1923, only a year after the ruling in Ozawa versus the United States, the SCOTUS denied his case. The justices argued that despite being racially categorized as Caucasian, who is white is ultimately determined by white people. These cases clearly demonstrate how whiteness is socially constructed rather than scientifically determined, like people tend to believe. The Supreme Court's contradictory reasoning, using scientific classification for Ozawa, but social perception for Thind, reveals that whiteness was manipulated to maintain racial hierarchies and exclude non-Europeans. Rather than openly admitting their goal of preserving white European dominance, the Supreme Court constructed complex, contradictory arguments using scientific classifications and common knowledge. This pattern of avoiding true intentions while maintaining racial hierarchies continues today. Inequality gets rationalized and hidden behind plausible deniability. The concept of whiteness itself has shown remarkable flexibility throughout American history. European ethnic groups who were once considered to be non-white or not white, such as Irish, Italian, and Jewish immigrants, were gradually accepted into the category of whiteness. This expansion helped maintain white majority status in the face of demographic changes. However, the selective inclusion highlights how whiteness remains an exclusive category, while other racial categories tend to be more inclusive. For instance, the one-drop rule historically classified anyone with any Black ancestry as Black, a legacy that continues to influence how we think about racial categories today. These classification patterns have significant implications for everything from voting patterns to demographic trends. These power dynamics where dominant groups define and categorize others persists in modern discussions about racial authenticity, cultural appropriation, and representation. Whether it's assigning a skin color like yellow, black, red, or white, or deciding who gets to be white and who can't be, the dominant group of the US has controlled racial categorization to maintain power. Or at least they get the privilege, right? While racial categories are socially constructed, they continue to have real material and social consequences that affect people's lives, opportunities, and experiences in modern America. The two Supreme Court cases I discussed show how individuals strategically sought legal classification as white, not from self-loathing, but as a practical response to severe legal and social restrictions. In a society where whiteness grants significant privileges, seeking the classification was a rational response to systemic discrimination. conforming to Anglo-cultural norms is a rational response to systemic discrimination, as we learned in the previous video. These Supreme Court cases also demonstrate how racial categories, although presented as scientific, ultimately depend on perception. This reminds me of the harsh yet apt quote by sociologist Richard Wright: "Race is what the cops think you are when they pull you over, not what you think you are." Understanding this history and the reality surrounding race helps us recognize similar patterns today and empowers us to work towards a more equitable future. If you found this video informative, please hit that like button and subscribe to join our community of learners and advocates. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated on new content exploring these important topics. Please share this video with someone who might benefit from understanding these concepts better. The more we learn about our history, the better equipped we are to create positive change. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll continue our journey of understanding and growth. Until then, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep growing.